should be muted.
You're going to move it for me. Okay. Okay.
This should be muted.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, March 26, 2018 meeting of the Durham County Board of Commissioners. I will now share the public charge. The Board of Commissioners asks its members and citizens to conduct themselves in a respectful, courteous manner, both with the board and fellow citizens. At any time, should any member of the board or any citizen fail to observe the public charge, the chair will ask the offending person to leave the meeting until that individual regains personal control. Should decorum fail to be restored, the chair will recess the meeting until such time that a genuine commitment to the public charge is observed. As a courtesy to others, please turn off cell phones during the meeting. And I will ask that everyone please rise for the
allegiance, flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
I will now invite everyone to join the audience, and I will state of the county address. Welcome, everyone, to the 2018 Durham State of the County Address. I want to thank all of you for joining us here tonight in our chambers and viewers at home for your interest and engagement in our community. It is my honor to welcome you as chair of the Durham County Board of Commissioners. I am honored and privileged to serve in this leadership role. I want to acknowledge our Vice Chair, James Hill, and Commissioners Carter, Ellen Reckow. I appreciate the unique perspective and strong voice as we work together to set policy and make decisions on behalf of the people of Durham, who we are elected to represent. We cannot do this work without the support of so many others. Our county manager, Wendell Davis, county attorney, Lowell Seiler, our general managers, Gail Harris, Jay Gibson, Claudia Hager, Jody Miller, Deborah Craig Ray, and our chief of staff, Drew Cummings, for your expertise that you. I also want to recognize our office, Michelle Parker Evans and her wonderful staff, Maceo Carlton, Tanya De Los Santos, and Monica Schumer. We are sad to report that Michelle will be leaving us on May 1st. After more than 30 years in local government. We are grateful for her service to Durham County, her tireless efforts to serve our board, and we wish her well in her. I also want to recognize our incredible department heads and staff who are too numerous for me to name. 27 different departments and more than 2,000 county employees who operate more than 100 programs that deliver direct services to people in our community each day. And I would like to ask all department heads and county employees to please rise and correct who are here with us tonight. Don't forget, employees too. I didn't see everybody stand up. Everything we do must be focused. Oh, I'm sorry. Skipped ahead here. The State of the County Address is an opportunity to look back on the past year and highlight accomplishments and progress. It is also time to recognize challenges and areas for improvement as we look to the year ahead and the long-term future of Durham County. Everything we do must be focused on investing in the people in our community, our human capital. Our greatest resource is the potential talent of each person. And when this talent is supported and flourishes, we all prosper. Durham County's strategic plan is our blueprint for our investments in the people of Durham. In Goal Area 1, Community Empowerment and Enrichment, we see progress and the potential of our existing resources. Durham County's unemployment rate dropped to 3.8% in 2016. According to a 2017 Duke University study, jobs in Durham County have grown by 27.9% from 2002 to 14, compared with a statewide average of 10.2%. A recent RTI study reports that 37,000 new jobs will be created in our region over the next 3 years. Many of these will be good-paying jobs that require a 4-year degree or technical education. Durham County also ranks number 1 in average weekly wages in the state. In fact, we are creating great jobs for our entire region as more and more people commute into Durham each day from neighboring counties. In national trends, we see growth in high-paying, high-skill jobs and low-paying, low-skills jobs. To strategically address the missing middle of good-paying jobs that often require less advanced degrees, our board recently approved a $2.7 million incentive for an $189 million expansion of the Corning plant in Trayburn Industrial Park. Corning plans to create 317 new jobs in addition to its existing 300 jobs, including 269 manufacturing jobs that only require high school or certification degrees. Corning and Durham Tech have committed to work together to create training programs so that Durham residents can have the necessary skills for these good jobs. We see the potential for even more manufacturing jobs in Trayburn. In the coming year, we will look to partner with the city to invest in needed infrastructure improvements to support future expansions. The Duke study indicates another important reason for these strategic investments. They help us confront issues like racial disparities in hiring, our disconnected youth, and people being left behind from Durham's job opportunities. Manufacturing jobs in Durham have the most diverse workforce, with 45% held by African American workers and 69% of these jobs requiring less than an associate's degree. Yet only about 3,500 of the more than 27,000 manufacturing jobs in Durham are currently held by Durham residents. With Durham County's poverty rate at 17.4% in 2016, our board considers it a priority that Durham County residents have the skills and education they need for the many good jobs in Durham. At our recent budget retreat, our board committed to Durham County government taking the lead in the creation of an integrated, coordinated cradle-to-career system. Our vision is that every child born in Durham will have an equitable opportunity for a bright future. This system will also ensure that our employees have the talent pool they need right here in Durham County. One of the national models we will consider in the coming year is Strive Together, Every Child, Cradle to Career. This will involve bringing together our nonprofits, private sector, educational institutions, workforce development agencies, and government partners to address this critical need. A foundation of a cradle to career pipeline is universal access to high-quality early childhood education. Research tells us that every $1 invested in early childhood education yields a $7 rate of return in successful life outcomes. This year, we fully funded the $1.5 million needed to operate the 8 pre-K classrooms at the newly renovated Whitted School, which serves many low-income families and Title I elementary schools in the surrounding neighborhoods. We have taken action to follow up on the recommendations of the state of Durham County's Young Child Report and the Pre-K Task Force Report. Subcommittees have been hard at work. A pre-K supply and demand study is underway, and we recently held an early childhood community summit attended by more than 100 community stakeholders. During the summit, we received great feedback and ideas related to the 5 focus areas where programs are already being implemented. There is an urgency to the work that we do. Amidst all of the resources and opportunities we have in Durham County, our child poverty rate increased from 22.2% in 2016 to 26%. We believe that the evidence-based practices laid out in these reports will help us break the cycle of poverty and help all of our children thrive. I would like to highlight Durham County's progress in 2 projects, which also overlap with Goal Area 4, Environmental Stewardship and Community Prosperity. As we face the challenges that revitalization and development can bring to our community, it becomes even more important that Durham County government use the assets we have for public benefits and to help mitigate negative impact market forces. We have made progress on the $143 million county capital investments currently underway, and our renovated former judicial building is due to be completed by August of this year. It will include 2 ground floor retail spaces, an inviting public outdoor seating area, ground floor community meeting rooms, and a new public art sculpture. I am proud that we will contribute to an active East Main streetscape and the growing public art in Durham. The Development Finance Institute at UNC School of Government is helping us to assess opportunities for private-public partnerships in the redevelopment of 2 other valuable county public assets, the 300 and 500 East Main Street surface parking lot. More than 230 Durham residents and county staff members have given us important feedback by participating in public engagement meetings and online surveys. Strong public priorities have emerged, including providing parking for county staff and clients, support for multimodal transportation, affordable and workforce housing, a vibrant streetscape, and affordable local retail and service options. Please stay tuned for upcoming opportunities to give us your important input into these transformational steps. In our strategic plan, Goal Area 2, Health and Well-Being for All, I want to share some of our efforts to combat gun violence racial bias, and substance abuse. Since January of 2017, Durham County government has funded the Bull City United program, which is an evidence-based national public health model that treats gun violence as a public health epidemic. Our Bull City United, or BCU, violence interrupters and outreach workers have been working in the target areas of McDougal Terrace and Southside over the past year to help resolve conflicts before they escalate to the level of retaliation and gun. BCU staff also work to connect people to jobs, education, and substance abuse and mental health. In the two target areas, we have seen a 43% reduction in persons and a 12% reduction in total shooting incidents. We know there is much work ahead, but I want to recognize our BCU staff, who are all Durham County employees. I would now ask all of you who are here with us tonight, please rise and be recognized. Thank you. Durham County is bringing together partners to collaborate on a systematic approach to the epidemic of substance abuse and medication misuse that is increasing in our community. In 2016, naloxone was administered to more than 232 people by Durham County EMS to reverse opioid overdoses. In 2016, we also saw a dramatic rise in overdose deaths related to cocaine, heroin, prescribed opioid medications, and other synthetic narcotics. The estimated economic impact of medical costs and work loss attributed to medication and drug fatalities in Durham County in 2016 is estimated at more than $41 million. In response, we recently convened a leadership forum on substance abuse and medication misuse. More than 140 people, including elected officials, law enforcement, and mental and behavioral health providers, came together to understand the scope of this problem, our existing resources, how to educate our community to prevent substance abuse and medication misuse, and get people the care and treatment they need to overcome addiction. Some immediate actions taken over the past year include free distribution of Narcan or naloxone through the Durham County Health Department and the Office of the Sheriff, being the first local law enforcement agency to carry and administer Narcan, and prescription drop boxes in locations such as the Durham County Courthouse. Our next step is to convene a task force of key partners to create a county-wide plan for a coordinated, integrated systems approach using data collection and sharing and evidence-based. As we aspire to promote the well-being of all people in our community, it is critical that we understand the historic and cultural legacies, inequities that continue to impact the policies and programs of government. Over the past year, Durham County has made racial equity training a priority for our Board of County Commissioners, leadership staff, department heads, and employees, so that we can learn how to bring a racial equity lens to the work we do and to gain insight into implicit bias that impacts the citizens we serve. We have spent more than $100,000 advancing racial equity training in partnership with Durham City Government and Durham Public Schools. In the past year, more than 600 multi-sector partners have participated in these trainings. Racial equity training will continue to be a priority for Durham County government. In Goal Area 3, Safe Community, Durham County continues to implement innovative ways to ensure the well-being of our community by working effectively and efficiently in partnership with other sectors. In our new community paramedicine program, familiar faces have been identified, and our community paramedics are developing relationships with these residents, connecting them to mental health and physical health providers, and addressing other needs to save costs associated with 911 calls or emergency room visits. Durham County Fire and Rescue is partnering with the City of Durham Fire Department on a plan for consolidation to take place in July 2018, which will help us use our joint resources more efficiently, better deliver services, improve response times, and reduce insurance rates for homeowners. In the past year, we have continued to implement new initiatives to better meet the mental health needs of people in our community and keep them out of our criminal justice system and jails. Our new mental health court has enrolled 22 individuals as a therapeutic diversion model when mental illness is identified as a factor in the commission of their crime. I'm also excited to share that Durham is now one of only 2 providers in the state with a behavioral health urgent care center. This walk-in clinic is open to adults and children dealing with urgent mental health needs and is free to those without health insurance or with Medicaid. We have also seen an increased usage of our Durham Recovery Response Center, or RCC, including a 32% increase in drop-off from first responders and law enforcement. The RRC provides 24-hour crisis services for people with acute mental health and substance abuse needs and helps divert people from our jail and emergency waiting rooms. In the past year, the Office of the Sheriff has also created a mental health pod for male detainees and is now expanding this to female detainees to better care for those with severe and persistent mental illness in the Durham County Detention. Many people in Durham are concerned about the criminalization of poverty, racial disparities, and inequities in our criminal justice system, and how we can help justice-involved people reintegrate back into our community. Durham County government continues to work in partnership with law enforcement, district attorney and public defender's offices, and our district court judges to address these issues. We strongly support the innovative diversion, alternate sentencing, pretrial release, and reentry programs administered through our Criminal Justice Resource Center, or CJRC. A new initiative launched in the past year is our award-winning Court Reminder Program, developed in partnership with our IT department, which provides text messages to remind people about their court dates. More than 2,000 residents have taken advantage of this free service, which saves money and time lost to the rescheduling of court dates and helps reduce the number of people being fined and jailed for failure to appear in court. We are also working hard to help the more than 700 residents returning to Durham each year from federal prison transition successfully back into our community. Public Health's formerly Incarcerated Transition Program, or FIT, assists those with chronic health conditions, and CJRC's Local Reentry Council, or LRC, is working with community partners to provide wraparound support and connect people to housing and jobs. The Durham County government cannot do this alone. We need employers to give returning residents a second chance at a job. We need faith communities to provide circles of support. You are welcome to attend a meeting to find out where your expertise, skills, or resources can be best utilized by contacting Karen Shaw, the LRC coordinator, at 919-560-0514, or visiting the website durhamreentrycouncil.org. In Goal Area 4, Environmental Stewardship and Community Prosperity, we are making strides in the development of our regional transit system. As our population grows, we are experiencing increased congestion and traffic gridlock at peak commute times on major roads connecting Durham, Orange, and Wake counties. As we compete in the national spotlight with cities across the country for a possible new Amazon or Apple headquarters, we hear the same deficiency from the pundits: our transit system. I and many others are working hard to ensure the successful implementation of the Durham Orange Light Rail project that will connect our major universities, employers, and medical centers in Durham and Orange counties. High-density mixed-use development around our light rail stations will be one of the most effective tools we have to create affordable housing and connect people in an easily accessible and affordable way to education and job opportunities. Our recently adopted interim housing density bonus to incentivize affordable housing around transit stations and other locations was created with input from the private sector, who we need to be an active partner in creating affordable housing options in our community. In the past year, we have completed half of the design and engineering for the Durham Orange Light Rail project. This is the culmination of more than a decade of work and millions of dollars in local funding. We are now eligible for $1.25 billion worth of federal funding and hope to retrieve our final approval for financing and construction from the Federal Transportation Administration in 2019, 1 year ahead of schedule. And I have to add, we're excited about the recently approved federal budget. Things are looking good. We have also began work on the important Durham-Wake commuter rail project by jointly funding a study with our partners in Wake County. This rail line will help relieve traffic in the I-40 corridor and connect Durham to RTP, Raleigh, North Carolina State University, and beyond. Bus rapid transit, local and regional bus systems, as well as bike and pedestrian trails will connect to the commuter and light rail spine to create a seamless system linking our region. I believe that the future vitality, continued economic job growth, and potential for good quality of life for Durham, Orange, and Wake counties rests on the creation of this regional transit system. This vision will rely on the ongoing partnership and collaboration of the governments of Durham, Orange, and Wake counties, as well as our institutional and private sector stakeholders who will benefit from reduced traffic and transit options for their employees and customers. I would also like to highlight some exciting ways Durham County is working to support sustainable development and local small businesses in our community. Over the past year, our Soil and Water Department has piloted a grant program to help Durham farmers implement infrastructure improvements on their farms and achieve federal food safety certification to grow their businesses and expand into commercial markets. Here with us tonight, and I'm not sure if they're still here, they may have had to leave because I heard JJ crying. We had with us here tonight David, Nicole, and JJ Owens from Waterwheel Farms. They were with us, but they were here tonight, and they have a young child, and I think they had to step out, who have been recipients of these grants and are contributing to Durham's local food economy. In addition, we are collaborating and partnering with Farmer Food Share, the Office of the Sheriff, and the Detention Center food contractor to launch a local food program. Durham certified farmers are now able to supply fresh produce to the more than 500 detainees and employees in the Durham County Detention Center. In the coming year, we look forward to expanding this program to Durham Public Schools and other Durham County facilities. In Goal Area 5, Accountable, Efficient, and Visionary Government, Durham County continues to stand on stable financial footing. We have maintained our AAA bond rating as one of only 79 counties in the United States with this designation. Our tax department achieved a 99.78% collection rate, an all-time high for Durham County. We are making strides in implementing our Managing for Results model that uses data and performance measures for decision-making. With the help of our new ClearPoint and Power BI systems, Durham County departments have compiled more than 2,400 performance measures. In the coming months, we aim to have baseline performance measures in our strategic plan available on the Durham County website. We are using technology to help us deliver services and be user-friendly for our residents. Some examples include our Alert Durham system, our Durham One Call app, our DSS application app, and our Durham eBid system. What I hope will be a growing collaboration, we recently partnered with the City of Durham and Durham Public Schools to host several well-attended community conversations to get public input about budget priorities in areas such as public safety, affordable housing, jobs, and education. It will be important that we use this feedback as well as information from our third annual resident satisfaction survey to help guide our budget process and areas for improvement so that Durham County can be as responsive, accessible, accountable, and transparent a government as possible. The overall economic outlook for Durham County continues to be bright. Our landscape, dotted with cranes, is showing results. We are projected to see a 3.54% growth in our tax base due to significant growth in new property valuation. This is comparable to last year's growth rate of 1.56%. But I must temper this with the news that we are also seeing a slowing in sales tax revenues, which may be due to recent sales tax redistribution at the state level, changing retail behavior, and our current inability to recover sales tax for many internet transactions. Durham County government continues to show our strong commitment to public education. More than 1/3 of Durham County's general fund is spent on education-related expenditures. Over the past 10 years, federal and state funding for education has declined, while the share of local funding has increased. In the past year, we provided an additional $6.06 million in local funding to Durham Public Schools, including a 1-cent property tax increase to support this, for a total allocation of more than $134 million for Durham Public Schools. We also funded more than $4.3 million to support dental and health nurses, health education, and school resource officers for our schools, and $1.5 million for pre-K classes. We know that about 80% of brain development takes place before kindergarten. Currently, only 38% of the children who enroll in kindergarten in Durham Public Schools are ready to learn. By prioritizing funding for high-quality early childhood education, we hope to support the work of our teachers. While we have a temporary reprieve from the state-required class size changes this year, this unfunded mandate will have a significant future capital and operational costs for Durham County, with the need for more classrooms. Here in Durham, we continue to experience the difficult realities impacting people in our world nation. Our vulnerable refugee and immigrant communities suffer not only from divided families, but a fear that impacts their ability to visit their children's schools, seek medical attention, or report being a victim of a crime. Many of our children go to school each day worried about their parents and their future. The Office of the Sheriff has appointed a bilingual officer, Captain Rahim Alim, and I'm not sure if who is doing outreach in our community. In the past year, I have convened a working group to bring together community stakeholders and service providers so that we can better understand the challenges facing refugees and immigrants, as well as share information about the human resources we have available in Durham County to help them. This year, we have also seen our county struggle to confront our history and the legacy of white supremacy play out here in our community. These are complex and difficult issues, but I believe that in Durham, where we have engaged, thoughtful, passionate, caring citizens, we can face up to these challenges. I believe we can bring together people to move forward in a positive and productive way that helps us face up to our past and create a better future. That is why I have partnered with our mayor, Steve Schul, with the support of the City Council and Board of County Commissioners, to lead the formation of a City-County Committee on Public Confederate Monuments. Our talented and experienced co-chairs, Duke Professor Robin Kirk and North Carolina Central University Professor Charmaine McKissick Melton, will lead our community through a process of facilitated conversations research, and resulting recommendations regarding the disposition of the county's Confederate memorial and other remaining symbols. And I would like to now recognize both of our co-chairs, Robin Kirk and Charmaine McKissick-Melton. If you please stand. Thank you. As we look to the coming year and beyond, I believe it will become even more imperative that we look at collaborative and integrated approaches to solving our problems in Durham so that all of our citizens can thrive, prosper, and have a sense of well-being. With less and less available state and federal resources, it is incumbent upon us to use our local resources in strategic ways to have the most collective impact. With the availability of data, the ease of technology, and all of the resources we have in Durham, there is nothing that should be stopping us from working together in this way. I look forward to continued collaboration between Durham City and county governments to address housing, homelessness, food insecurity, and the needs of our growing senior population. Many stakeholders have been partnering on a livability assessment for older adults. I hope it will become the foundation of our aging plan and the pathway for Durham to become an age-friendly community. We are at a pivotal point in Durham's history. This is a time where perhaps we have the greatest opportunities and resources we have ever had available to us, while at the same time we face some of our greatest challenges. With collaboration, partnership, collective impact, and the creation of a shared vision, I believe we can be a place where all people in our community have an equitable chance for a good quality of life. Let's not forget that Durham's tobacco empire, Duke and North Carolina Central Universities, and other foundational community institutions grew out of a vision, partnership, collaboration, and all had a collective impact. The revitalization and redevelopment that has brought vitality and opportunity back to our vacant downtown streets and storefronts and decaying factory buildings not very long ago was also born out of the vision, partnership, collaboration, and collective impact of so many people in Durham. So let's come together to create a shared vision of the community that we love, a community that we value for being welcoming, tolerant, and inclusive, a community that celebrates diversity, difference, and creativity. Let's also include in our vision a thriving community for all. To create a shared vision for change will require all sectors of our community to take responsibility and ownership for our problems, and to commit to working together to make a shared vision of prosperity for all a reality. Durham County government's expression of this vision is emblazoned on our human service complex for all to see. Durham's vitality is built upon the health of our residents and the capacity of our community to foster and enhance the well-being of every citizen. I recently learned of another expression of this vision by a group of people, from a group of people in our community. Durham is a community that thrives, where each citizen's basic needs are met so we can all prosper, pursue our dreams. How will you create shared prosperity and contribute to a thriving Durham this year? I love this vision, and I love this personal challenge. Durham County government will continue to help lead the way. We invite you in. We can do this together. Thank you. And I will just announce that everyone is, thank you for being here tonight. Really appreciate your attention and your interest in Durham County government and our community. And you are welcome to stay for the remainder of our meeting, but you are also welcome to leave if you so choose. So again, thank you so much for being here with all of us. Okay, we will continue with our meeting tonight. And the next item on our agenda is advance public comments on the fiscal year 2018-19 budget. And just to let people know that we will, the rest of the calendar for the budget process will be that the county manager will present his recommended budget for fiscal year 2018-19 to our board on May 14th, 2018, and then we will have a series of work sessions and budget hearings. Those dates are May 22nd, a work session from 10 to 3, which is tentative, May 24th, work session 9 to 3. May 31st, work session from 1 to 5. June 4th, work session 1 to 4. And June 14th, work session from 9 to 3. There will also be a public hearing at our regular meeting on June 11th at 7 p.m. And the fiscal year 2018 budget ordinance is scheduled to be adopted on Monday, June 25th, 2018. I have several people signed up to speak, to give comments on the budget. And when I call your name, if you would please come to the mic here and just state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes. First, we have James Briggs.
James Briggs from 1522 Horn Creek Drive in a neighborhood known as Carolina Arbors. Thanks to County Manager Davis's weekly emails and the invitation, and a recent one, I'm here today. And thanks to the County Commissioner Jacobs and all the commissioners for having an early input, I'm able to tell you about a need that we have. Our neighborhood, Carolina Arbors, is less than 4 years old. Many of the residents moved here from other areas of the country. It's considered a 55 plus, so there's a few people that work, but most are retired. They continue to be active by volunteering at the Durham Rescue Mission, Habitat for Humanity, after-school reading programs, but because of age restrictions on the property, they don't consume any of the tax dollars that are needed for schools, because we're not allowed to have any residents over 19 on a permanent basis. So we're kind of a far out community at the edge. If you walk about a mile further east, you end up in Wake County in a place called Briar Creek, which people know somewhat well. And because we're out on Leesville Road, in the middle of what used to be sheep and horse country, there's a challenge to get a EMS ambulance out there sometimes in a certain amount of time. And so the latest data that I have shows that EMS response times for our neighborhood are always above 15, the average above 15 minutes, and EMS response times in the county overall are actually below 10 minutes. So I'm seeking an improved service level for Southeast Durham. This is a very large growing area. Besides the 1,000 homes in Carolina Arbors, there's about 5 or 6 other builders that are building homes rapidly. And unfortunately, this will take a budget increase. We're fortunate that past good actions by both the county commissioners and city council have started the construction of a fire station known as number 17, which will have a bay for an EMS truck in it. But the next step forward would be to make sure we have enough staff and enough equipment to actually make use of that building when it's available, hopefully later this year. So again, if we could get our neighborhood the same level of service as the county average, then we'd be pleased. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have John Orth.
Good evening. John Orth, 1314 Lincoln Mill Drive, in the same Carolina Arbors community that Mr. Briggs referred to. I would like to double his concern and mention a few of the issues that we've discovered recently. The EMS budgets has been underfunded for 3 years now, $6 million in the last budget year. In a recent blog by Mr. Davis, he pointed out the 5 priorities that the county board has from a strategic planning meeting that you had, and improvement in EMS services was not included. This is of high concern to us. You have over 2,000 residents in this community now. There's 4 other senior communities in this neighborhood that are growing and selling homes now for senior citizens, with a total population of over 5,000 senior citizens in the next 3 to 4 years. Carolina Arbors has contributed over $6 million in taxes this year and $8 million next year. And as Mr. Briggs pointed out, we don't tax the system with any educational demand. We have very little police requirements for police or sheriff activity. And so EMS service is number 1 on our priority for equality. As he pointed out, we're getting over 15 minutes of service. In a recent example, last Thursday, we had a person fall and have a head contusion, was unconscious for a while, and EMS service took 20 minutes to get there, based upon the time that we called the 911. I understand the way they calculate it would be 15 minutes because they don't start the clock until the van is dispatched. However, quite different from the reality of the rest of the community. And we think the senior citizens, if indeed you have equal health concerns for everybody, the senior citizen growth in this community is in the Briar Creek area. I'm sure that you recognize that all of these new citizens coming to town are not just aging residents of the community, but added community residents, most of whom are coming here from out of state. Many residents, as Mr. Briggs pointed out, are already volunteering in your community, and a large professional quantity of people participating in all charities and residential equations. I would like to leave you with the thought that the senior citizens in this community, particularly the new senior citizens in this community that are all congregated in these senior communities in the southeast portion of it, request your support for a higher priority for funding in the next fiscal year. If you indeed have an objective of equality for services for all residents, including senior citizens, we certainly deserve a higher budget so that can fund the staff and the vehicles necessary for the EMS service to give equal service to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have a follow-up question for the manager. When is Station 17 that's going to serve this area be opening? Jody can answer that. The new station that we're co-locating with the city.
Hear you? Is it on now? Thank you. Good evening, board members. I just got an update recently from the city. They hope to have substantial completion done by the end of April, and an opening in May is what they're targeting. Yes, it's the co-located station that'll have first responders that provide first service of EMS services to communities, as well as have EMS presence at the stations. It's right across the street. It's very close.
Earth?
My name is Karen Harth, and I live at 1009 Axelwood Lane, also in Carolina Arbors. But I'm here for several different things. First of all, I would like to compliment the City of Durham for Durham One Call. I've used it 3 times, and all 3 times it has been responsive. Second, I would like to compliment the Sheriff's Department. I've asked for speed and radar in our neighborhood because of the speeding on Carolina Arbors Drive, and they were responsive to me and continue to be responsive. We do have some speeding issues in our neighborhood that need to be taken care of, especially with the additional senior citizen communities that are coming into that area. The fourth thing I would like to say is I am a volunteer through RSVP at Durham Achievement Academy, and I would encourage the city and the county to continue those kind of at-risk reach into the community and help the disenfranchised young adults who need to desperately get that education. And finally, I would like to say, contrary to my two other residents, I see a priority for the education in Durham County. As a retired and active educator, to me, education is an utmost priority. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to make sure we didn't leave anyone out who may not have had the opportunity to sign up to speak on the budget tonight. We're taking public comment. I want to thank all of you who came tonight to speak. Thank you for your involvement in the community, and we appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay, are there any agenda adjustments this evening? Seeing there are no adjustments, I will move on to the announcements. As the county is preparing for the fiscal year 2018-19 budget, public input is being solicited on issues which may need to be addressed during the budget process. Citizens can use the county's online budget comment portal to leave comments and input about the fiscal year 2018-19 budget process. The budget portal can be accessed at dconc.gov/18-19 budget portal. And also you can look on our website. I'm sure there'll be some type of information about that. Please let us know the priorities that you support for the fiscal year 2018-19 budget. So for all of those who cannot take the time, don't have the ability to come here for a public hearing, please make use of, and we hope that you'll use the budget portal. Are there any other additional announcements? Commissioner Howerton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to first thank Commissioner Carter and Commissioner Reckhow for attending the two-day summit that was held in Greensboro. And this was a summit that was part of the presidential initiative that I undertaken with the North Carolina Association of Counties. And it is 100 counties helping all children thrive. And we spent 2 days of really having counties from across the state. First of all, the association surveyed all 100 counties to find out what initiatives they were doing, what kind of what were the ones that were being successful, that was having an impact on the lives of our children. So we spent 2 days exploring those. We had one really innovative organization that had taken a prison and was using that prison to really redesign young men's lives. So there were a lot of creative things, even to funding. We had funders to come in and talk about how organizations could get funding for their initiatives. So it was a really creative 2 days, and what we hope is that if anyone wants more information on the website, the different sessions were videoed, so you have the information available. So as the president of the association, that has been my initiative, is that 100 children thrive, that we have our children. And our chair talked about thrive in her conversation on her speech tonight. So we're really looking at how do we have our children thrive, and that's from all different aspects of their lives. So I just wanted to bring that, and there's more information on the website that you can make sure that you can get.
Thank you, and thank you, Brenda, for your leadership on this issue across the entire state of North Carolina. Thank you. Okay, we also, next we have our minutes, regular session, February 26th, 2018.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Carter, seconded by Commissioner Reckow. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the minutes are unanimously approved. We have several ceremonial items tonight. The first item is in recognition of National Services Recognition Day. We discuss this last week, but we are last month or our last meeting, but we're happy to bring it back tonight because we have some of our guests here with us. Kayleen Herbert, who is the program director of the Eagle Corps at North Carolina Central University, and someone else, please come on up. Welcome to come over here, and I'm going to first read the proclamation, and then I would love for you both to introduce yourselves and tell us more about what this is about and the event. The Durham Board of County Commissioners Proclamation, National Service Recognition Day 2018. Whereas Durham County has a rich history of service to its community and involvement with national service, and whereas the Corporation for National and Community Service provides economic opportunities by creating stronger and healthier communities and providing those whose service with educational and leadership skills, I think there might be a typo on this. Whereas the volunteers of the AmeriCorps and Senior Corps programs in Durham County, North Carolina, diligently provide service to address issues within our community, from education to supporting veterans and military services, providing disaster relief and support for the elderly. And whereas the volunteers of the AmeriCorps and Senior Corps programs in Durham County, North Carolina, get things done, now therefore be it resolved, I, Wendy Jacobs, Chair of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, and on behalf of the Durham Board of County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the 3rd day of April 2018 as National Service Recognition Day in Durham County, and hereby recommend its observance upon public officials, business and community leaders, and citizens in recognition of the positive impact of the AmeriCorps and Senior Corps volunteers in our community, this, the 26th day of March 2018, Wendy Jacobs, Chair, Durham Board of County Commissioners. So thank you for being with us tonight, and please introduce yourselves and tell us about this important day.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. My name is Colleen Herbert, and I serve as the program director for the Eagle Corps program at NCCU, which is an AmeriCorps program. And I'm kind of representing the AmeriCorps programs along with the AmeriCorps Vista programs in Durham County. This is the 6th annual National Service Recognition Day that's taking place on Tuesday, April 3rd. The initiative is led by the Corporation for National and Community Service, which is the federal organization that funds our programs, the National League of Cities, the National Association of Counties, and the Cities of Service. And we just want to thank you all for recognizing our members who are embedded within various community organizations, faith-based, nonprofit, and other governmental agencies, using their talents, their ingenuity, and their training to make a tangible impact, lasting impact in the Durham County community.
Thank you.
And I'm Paula Reif. I am the coordinator for the Retired and Senior Volunteer Program, RSVP of Durham County at Durham Tech, sponsored by Durham Tech now for 41 years in Durham County. So thank you for your support of the of the project that we've been able to serve the community for such a long time. We have over 120 senior volunteers right now, but there's, as we've seen from the slides tonight, there's so much potential for growth in that community. And we look forward to being able to support the community more using the resources of all of the power and experience that our older adults have in Durham.
Thank you.
I have a question. Thanks for the information on the RSVP program. How do you get the word out to seniors in our community that the program exists?
Thanks. I'm sure. I talk with whoever will listen. I use social media as much as I can. I just posted on Facebook that you're reading the proclamation. We also are doing some of our programs, like the VITA program we've been doing now for over 20 years in Durham. We have 6 sites, 6 days a week, where we offer free tax assistance. So we're able to promote, even with the programs that we do ourselves, the program that we're doing for volunteers in the community. I was a part of the Triangle J survey, and so I did have an opportunity to, and under services, voice the fact that RSVP exists in this community, even though there's a whole bunch of people who don't know about it yet. And so hopefully there is going to be a little bit more exposure coming from that as well.
Well, I'll just make a friendly suggestion. I would suggest there's less than 2 handfuls, I believe, of large senior communities where there's independent living and we still have very vibrant seniors. An example is Carolina Arbors. We're here today. They have over 1,000 housing units there. And there's a number of other big ones. If you email me, I can help generate the list. But I think if you were to reach out, whether it be by a letter and maybe an attached flyer, they could post on their bulletin boards, or visit them and speak at some point, I think you could attract more people to volunteer. And I think it would be great. We have some really vibrant people coming with a lot of skills to our community. I'd love to see them use their talent
Yeah, I would too. And I actually did have the opportunity to speak with Carolina Arbors last fall.
Great.
And so they do have a presence already in the community, and so I'm hoping that we do have their support with the Durham Tech Food Pantry too. So that's one area that we seem to be getting more volunteers. But I definitely, would love to have any ideas that you have for getting more exposure in the community. Thank
Great.
you.
Thanks for your work.
Thank you. So the event that is taking place I don't know if that's a public event or.
It's not public.
Okay.
We are inviting the members of the county commission to join us on that day. It's Tuesday, April 3rd at 11:30 a.m. in the Parish Street Forum, downtown Durham. We'd love to have you all come out and join with our AmeriCorps members and celebrate with them.
Well, thank you. Well, yes, thank you.
Yes, AmeriCorps and Senior Corps.
Right. Well, thank you, and for bringing attention to this, and also recognizing, having this event to recognize all the volunteers, because we know we can't all do it alone. And the thing about volunteering is that when you volunteer, you benefit as well. So, two-way experience.
Is there an email? Did an email go out
I forwarded the invitation to you.
today?
No, yesterday. So you would please come and receive this proclamation. Thank you. So tonight, we also have a very special recognition for paramedic Corporal Chris Langdon with Emergency Medical Services for his heroic actions while off duty. And I would like to welcome everyone to please join us. And I would love to, rather than me reading what's in here, maybe if we could have our EMS director, whoever you choose, to please tell us why we're all here tonight to recognize Chris Langdon.
Absolutely. It's my
Yes.
pleasure to do this as well. We are very proud of Corporal Langdon. So the board is requested to recognize paramedic Corporal Chris Langdon, the Durham County Emergency Medical Services, for his heroic actions while off duty at the scene of a motor vehicle accident. On February 23rd, 2018, paramedic Corporal Chris Langdon stopped at a motor vehicle accident while off duty. He was able to provide valuable information and the conditions of the patients prior to the arriving units. During his triage of the victims, Corporal Langdon identified one individual had sustained a life-threatening amputation. He immediately retrieved and applied a tourniquet from his departmental-issued ballistic vest. His knowledge and actions helped to save this patient's life. A member of the patient's family on the news stated, if it wasn't for that guy with the tourniquet, she would have lost her life. That guy happens to be one of our esteemed colleagues. Paramedic Corporal Langdon will receive the Durham County EMS Meritorious Intervention Commendation. This commendation is awarded to an individual who intervenes in an emergency while off duty where the health, safety, and welfare of a citizen is at risk, providing emergency medical care or rescue services when under no employment obligations to do so. And where a higher level of medal is not appropriate. Corporal Langdon is also a member of the Durham Police Department's Biological and Chemical Emergency Response Team and is responsible for training new hires in Durham County. He is a valuable member of the Durham County EMS system and demonstrates the EMS core values, which are safety, people, patient-centered, clinical excellence, leadership and innovation, collaboration, pride and unity, and preparedness daily. We are very happy to present him with this award, and Operations Chief Rodney Medlin will do that now. While he's doing that, I'd like to say thank you for giving us this opportunity. One of the things that we find very important to our organization is to recognize our members when they do great work. And this is a great opportunity to do that with you guys here. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Well, we appreciate you, Corporal Langdon, and all of the EMS staff that are here with us tonight. I can say I first found out about it on social media is when I heard about it, and I know we're all really grateful for what you did and the life that you saved in our community. So we really thank you. And we're honored that we could be actually here to witness you receiving this medal and this honor. And this is your daughter and your wife. Well, congratulations. Yes. Thank you for being here tonight as well. Yeah, thank you. So we have another recognition tonight. We want to recognize Bert White of the Information Services and Technology Department, who has been recognized as the Help Desk Institute HDI IT Analyst of the Year for the Triangle Eastern North Carolina region. And we would love to have Bert, for you to come up. Now, do you have family members with you? I don't want to make sure I don't leave anyone out. Is that your daughter sitting with you?
Jordan.
Okay, you can come up too. And Greg, if you would like to come up as well. Jordan? Thank you for being here, Jordan. So Greg, if you could please tell us about this award.
Good evening, Board. So this award is given to an employee within the state who exhibits outstanding customer service and providing service to end users in the place where they work. And so this is an award that is seeked out by all 100 counties across the state and even in the private sector. And so to rise above and be selected as number one speaks a lot of volume in terms of the service that you provide. And I think many of the employees here this evening would say that if there's any one person that really stands out above, it's Bert. And so we're very happy to see him having won the award tonight. So congratulations.
And Bert, I don't know if you want to share any comments with us. I think all of us sitting here tonight, all of our board members can attest to your customer service. We've all benefited from it ourselves.
I just want to say thank you for taking a few minutes, especially I missed the last meet. So give me an opportunity to be here with you all. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and we really appreciate all the work that you do every day to help all of us, and you're well deserving of this award. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
He's got the patience of Job.
So next on our agenda tonight is our consent agenda. We have items 18-0687 through 18-0741. Do know that we are going to pull the two resolutions. The resolution on the oil and gas drilling, let's see, what number is that? 18-0722, and the resolution on local youth-led efforts related to gun violence, that's 18-0741. Well, we can just approve them, and I just would like Commissioner Reckow is going to read the oil and gas resolution, and Commissioner Howerton is going to read the gun violence resolution, so we can approve them and just give them the opportunity. Just read it out loud, but we don't need to. We can just approve them and then,
I'd move approval.
Second.
all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the consent items are unanimously approved. And Commissioner Reckow, if you would please share the first.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution in opposition to offshore exploration, drilling activities, and seismic blast activities off the coast. Whereas Durham County is committed to being a sound steward of the environment, and whereas Durham County stands with coastal municipalities in their pursuit of prudent shoreline protection and preservation, and whereas seismic air guns firing intense blasts of compressed air are among the loudest human-made sounds in the ocean, and whereas these seismic blasts can occur as frequently as every 10 seconds for days to weeks at a time, are loud enough to harm marine and aquatic life. And whereas the full impacts of seismic blasting and offshore drilling in the Atlantic are not yet fully understood by scientists, the oil and gas industry, the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, or the federal government. And whereas exploratory and commercial drilling, extraction, and the transportation of offshore oil and gas resources pose significant economic and environmental risks. And whereas offshore drilling activities pose specific threats for offshore marine ecosystems, wetlands, which are of intrinsic ecological value for numerous migratory bird species, serve as an essential nursery habitat for our recreational, commercial, important fisheries, and act as natural buffers from storm surge and hurricane. And whereas commercial and recreational fishing are critical economic quality of life, and whereas tourism is the economic backbone of the North Carolina, and whereas one oil spill could devastate the economy, environment, and social fabric, demonstrated that the Water Horizon oil spill off Mexico in 20. And whereas a waiver has already been granted to the state of Florida based on the multiple concerns raised in the coast tourism. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Durham County Board of Commissioners is opposed to offshore oil and gas exploration, offshore drilling activities, seismic blast activities on the continent or elsewhere off the coast of North Carolina. And be it further resolved that the Durham Board of County Commissioners stands in solidarity with North Carolina coastal communities, which may be affected by the onshore infrastructure supporting and may suffer adverse long-term social, economic, environmental offshore exploration and production of petroleum resources on the continent off the coast. And be it further resolved that the Durham Board of County Commissioners calls upon all North Carolina municipal and county governing bodies to continue to oppose offshore drilling and continues to urge the Triangle J Council of Governments, the North Carolina and the North Carolina League of Municipalities. Be it further resolved that the Durham Board of County Commissioners urges Governor Roy and the entire North Carolina General Assembly to oppose offshore petroleum production policies that risk the health, safety, and sound environmental stewardship, whose natural beauty attracts proven tourism-driven. Adopted this 26th day of March 2018. Wendy Jacobs, Chair, James Hill, Vice Chair, Heidi Carter, Brenda Howerton, and Madam Chair and members of the board, I'd like to ask that our clerk share this resolution with our governor, with the members of the local legislative delegation, and with our members in the House and Senate, Congress, so that they will know of our.
Okay, thank you. And we also just approved a resolution related to, in support of local youth-led efforts related to the gun violence. So Commissioner Howerton, could you please?
Sure, Madam Chair, thank you. Resolution in support of local youth-led efforts calling for state and national action to prevent gun violence in schools and communities nationwide. Whereas gun violence is a crisis in the United States, especially for children, and whereas the U.S. has the highest rate of gun violence among its peers, including nearly 6 times the gun homicide rate of Canada, more than 7 times that of Sweden, and nearly 16 times that of Germany. And whereas, on average, 24 children are shot every day in the United States. And whereas more than 150,000 students attending at least 170 primary or secondary schools have experienced a shooting on campus since the Columbine High School massacre in 1999. And whereas, along with school shootings, countless other lives are impacted by gun violence that do not make headlines every day. 96 Americans are shot and killed, and hundreds or more are wounded each day in this country. And whereas every child deserves to learn in a school that is safe, and adults must do more to protect our students and schools from gun violence. And whereas young people in our community are taking the lead in solidarity with Majority Stoneman Douglas High School is calling for action by state and national leaders and asking that adults listen and follow their lead. And whereas these grassroots and young youth-led efforts build on the momentum of Black Lives Matter, the Dream Defenders, Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America, Guilford, and other efforts to amplify the majority of voices who support sensible gun control legislation in the U.S. And whereas these youth are taking part in protests and other actions to demand that they be kept safe in their schools. Whereas the Durham Board of County Commissioners supports these youth in their assertions that sensible gun control legislation efforts, including universal background checks, waiting periods, and an assault weapon ban will prevent gun violence, and extreme risk protective orders, which would allow law enforcement to remove guns from dangerous persons if ordered by a judge, as proposed by State Representative Marsha Moray. And whereas we reject arming teachers or other acts that would put more guns and fear in our schools. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Durham Board of County Commissioners support the aforementioned youth-led action to make their voices heard and calls on the community and state and federal elected leaders to act on sensible gun control legislative measures to prevent further gun violence in our schools and in our communities. Be it therefore resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Durham Legislative Delegation and Senators Richard Burr and Tom Tillis and Congressman David Price, Governor Roy Cooper, and Senator Valerie Foushee. Adopted this the 26th day of March 2018. Wendy Jacobs, Chair, James Hill, Vice Chair, Heidi Carter, Brenda Howerton, and Ellen Rykow. And the other thing that I'd just like to mention something that one of the young people said on Saturday. She said, thrive, she said, we want, as young people, we want to thrive together and not die together. It was pretty profound.
Thank you, Commissioner Howerton. We know that we've seen incredible leadership and inspiration from all the young people here in our community, in DC, across the nation. So we can certainly try to do what we can to support the vision that they have, which as adults we have not been able to provide. Thank you.
Madam Chair, the resolution mentioned Congress. That,
No, it didn't say. It didn't mention
yeah,
that.
yeah, but we can send it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, we have a public hearing on the zoning map change and future land use map amendments for long beverage expansion. And let's see, we have Jamie Sunyak, senior planner, from the, it looks like we have Sarah Young, also from the planning department.
Good evening. I am Jamie Sunyak with the Planning Department. I will be presenting case number A 17000, 15Z170037. This is long beverage expansion. It involves a zoning map change and a plan amendment request. The matter before you has been properly noticed and advertised in accordance with Unified Development Ordinance. The applicant is Patrick Biker from Morningstar. The property is located within the county's jurisdiction. This site in total is 2.187 acres. The proposal is to seek all uses that are in the industrial light zoning district, but as the application states, it is essentially an expansion to the existing long beverage facility, which is located at 3719 Page Road. The rezoning request, the current zoning is rural residential, and the applicant is seeking industrial light. There is no development plan included. The future land use map change is from office to industrial. The Planning Commission recommended, the City County Planning Commission recommended approval of the LOM request and the zoning map change 13-0 on February 13th, 2018. This is the aerial map. The property is shown in the red hatch. It is, again, 2.187 acres. It's located within the suburban tier, adjacent to the Wake County boundary, which is highlighted in yellow on the slide. It is also located within the Neuse River Basin. The property is primarily vacant land, but one of the properties has a single-family dwelling. As you can see, and if you've been through that area, there are a variety of uses located in proximity to the subject site. The north and east is the existing long beverage facility. That's the sort of concrete rectangular shape that you see on the map. I can actually highlight that. It's shown there in red. There are a variety of lighter industrial office uses as you travel up World Trade and also off of Logistic Way. There's also an additional light industrial use further south that's just off of the map. And I'll have some pictures that show these locations a little bit further in the PowerPoint. And other light industrial uses to the north. There are also some residential developments on the west side of Page Road that are developing. This aerial doesn't clearly depict the development that is going on, but the access points are off Page Road. So this map shows the existing future land use designation on the left and the proposed change on the right. You can see in the highlighted area, the existing future land use map designation is office, and the applicant is requesting a change to industrial, which is shown in the purple shade right here. So office is here and industrial is there. The information or the map in the hatched line shows the Wake County information. So that's outside of the city-county jurisdiction, but everything in the colored to the west, you'll see under the existing future land use map is industrial, so that would actually complement the area that exists. Here are the pictures, and I probably should have put them closer to the aerial map so you could see the connection, but I just got back from Asheville, so my mind is still in the mountains. Well, let me just start with number 4. That's the existing long beverage facility. That's number 4. You can tell that that's an established, existing, successful, long-standing business in the area. It's got a very nice history. And the slide next to, or the picture next to it rather, is one of the parcels that is requesting the future land use map change and zoning map change designation. The slides, or the pictures rather, to the north are some of the other light industrial uses that I mentioned before along Page Road. I can't see the name from here of this one, but this is further north. That's number 1. Number 3 is as you're traveling north and east on World Trade. And number 2 is an example of some of the residential development that is occurring within that area, again with access of Page. So this slide shows our context map, which indicates the existing zoning in the area. On the left, you'll see that the existing zoning for the parcels is rural residential. And on the right, you'll see that the proposal is to change the zoning to those 4 parcels, which abut the existing long beverage facility to industrial. And that would complement the zoning that exists on the existing long beverage facility, even though that's in Wake. Staff has reviewed these requests and determined that it is consistent with the requirements of the Unified Development Ordinance. And the applicant is basically asking for a direct translation of the zoning. They're not seeking a development plan. So I just wanted to sort of give you an idea of what the existing industrial light district standards are that the applicant or any proposal in that zoning would have to adhere to in terms of building coverage and height and side yards. In addition to these standards, any development that would come in would have to submit a site plan and also adhere to buffer standards or any other performance standards that are in place under our existing code. In terms of consistency with the comprehensive plan, whenever there is a request for a future land use map change and a zoning map change, we have to review that against the city county's comprehensive plan to determine whether or not the request is consistent or not with our existing policies. So the existing site is designated office, so it is not consistent with that request. But it is consistent with a number of other policies. 2.123, the proposed industrial designation is consistent with the intent of the suburban tier. This property is located within the suburban tier. 2.13I, the proposed industrial designation would match the proposed IL zoning district in the event that both requests are approved. 2.22A, the request industrial designation would provide additional industrial lands to accommodate the anticipated expansion of Long Beverage facility operation, and it would match the designations given to the properties found to the north and west of the site. Policy 2.22B, the requested designation industrial is an allowed land use category in the suburban tier which the site is located, and the proposed plan amendment is compatible with the existing development in the area, again, because it serves as an expansion to the Long Beverage facility, which is currently designated industrial in the future land use map. 2.42C, location of industrial uses. The request designation industrial is consistent as the site is located directly on Page Road, a major thoroughfare. And in terms of zoning map changes, it is consistent with policy 2.31B. The proposal supports orderly development patterns as it serves an expansion to the existing Long Beverage facility, also located in industrial light zoning, and the industrial mixed-use zoning found to the east in Wake County, and 2.32A, infrastructure capacity. There is existing infrastructure such as roads, water and sewer, sufficient to accommodate the potential impacts. All of this information, by the way, and additional information is included in the staff report that you should have received in your packet. So this PowerPoint is essentially just to give you a quick understanding of the site, what the proposals are, and the compatibility with the comprehensive plan and our findings and recommendations. Staff determines that this request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and applicable policies and ordinances. And at this time, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jamie.
Madam Chair, I just have a comment.
Yes, Commissioner Reckow.
I want to thank the planning staff and Jamie for hearing some of our concerns after the last meeting. I think this PowerPoint is a good approach in terms of providing an overview, particularly of the site and the. So I hope it will become the norm going forward, because I think it could actually save us time and reducing the number of questions. Thank you.
Okay. Any other?
We agree.
Any other questions from commissioners? Commissioner Carter.
I just second what Commissioner Reckow said. It was great. It was excellent. It was really helpful to have the report and then have the PowerPoint side by side.
Any questions?
I'm good.
So I agree, and I also appreciate that you added the list of the IL uses that came up last time as well, included that, and the thorough explanation about the comprehensive plan policies was also excellent. Thank you.
Welcome.
I had a question. A lot of the planning commissioners recognized something that I think probably all of us recognize, which was the question of the OI is kind of really inconsistent. And was there any consideration of just rezoning all of those parcels to IL, or why or why not to do that? I was just curious to what would be the reasoning.
Let me just pull up the zoning map so I understand your question a little bit better.
Yeah. Right. So,
Well, I think you're asking about the land use.
yeah, I'm sorry, the land use designation.
Okay.
That, you know, that it's there, you're still going to leave that tiny little piece of office there
Well,
with the
the
rezoning?
request for long beverage involves whatever their future plans are, and that area is highlighted in the red hatch. Given further south what exists today, um, I personally can't speak to what the future changes would be for that particular area. We at this point can't change the future land use designation or the zoning change if somebody doesn't ask for it. So there is an existing office light manufacturing facility just further south, which is a very nice, attractive building, but I can't really speak to their future expansions or their future plans. At this point, we're just looking at that at this particular site because that's the request that's been made.
When the comp plan is updated, will the future land use map also be updated, and would that be a time that something like this might be looked at there?
Mayor Jacobs, thank you. Sarah Young with the Planning Department. That is exactly what I was going to mention, that while Jamie's correct that in practice we do not usually expand an applicant's request to change the designation of properties outside of their request, that given the proximity to starting a new comprehensive plan project in fiscal year 19, so just a few months, hopefully, issues like this should be dealt with at that time through that large project.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I will now open the public hearing, and we have the applicant. We now have gotten this straight that applicant, so each side has 10 minutes to speak. So you are, so you have 10 minutes on your side.
I live at 2614 Stewart Drive here in Durham. Long Beverage is a Durham family business that has achieved great success over more than 6 decades. It's a remarkable story of perseverance, dedication, and the Durham can-do spirit. Today, Long Beverage employs over 200 people and serves the entire Triangle and the surrounding counties. The reason for our application before you tonight is to accommodate future growth for the next generation at Long Beverage. There are 4 parcels, 3 of which are vacant, along Page Road that are zoned rural residential and are designated for office use on the future land use map. The existing zoning and the future land use map designation really don't make much sense given the existence of industrial uses adjacent to these properties. We respectfully ask for your approval so that all 4 of these parcels will be zoned industrial light. This will allow the success story of Long Beverage to continue, creating good-paying jobs for young people in the years ahead. Lastly, I do want to stress that the future growth at Long Beverage will not generate any significant peak hour traffic on Page Road. Long Beverage's employees arrive mostly between 4:30 a.m. and 5:30 a.m. and finish their work by mid-afternoon. Therefore, any peak hour traffic conditions along Page Road will not be affected by Long Beverage. Accordingly, for all these reasons, we respectfully ask for your approval. I'll be happy to try and answer any questions you may have, and thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who has signed up? I don't think we have anyone else signed up to speak, or, okay. Any questions for the applicant? I have one question, which is, do you know what the proposed expansion is for exactly?
It'll be to grow the business, but at this point in time, we do not have a figure in terms of square footage or parking. So that's, it's just not possible to say whether it's 10,000 feet or 30,000 square feet. It's probably about 5 years down the road before we'll have an answer to that specific question, and we'll submit a site plan for that.
Thank you.
You.
Okay, seeing that there's no one else signed up to speak, I will now close the public hearing. And we have several matters before us.
Madam Chair, I would move that we adopt a resolution to amend the future land use map, to establish the industrial designation.
Okay. Moved by Commissioner Reckhouse, seconded by Commissioner Howerton. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the future land use map resolution is approved. The second item before.
I move that we adopt consistency statement as required by North Carolina General Statute 158-341.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Reckhouse, seconded by Commissioner Hill. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the consistency statement is unanimously approved. One final action.
I'll move that we adopt an ordinance amending the Unified Development Ordinance to establish industrial light zoning for the city.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Reckhouse, seconded by Commissioner Howerton. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the rezoning is unanimously approved. Okay, thank you. Okay, so our final item on our agenda is board and commission appointment. Put that after.
No, I need.
We're conferring.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I have the results of your votes for appointments to the Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee. You've selected Sylvia Alston, Dorothy Justice, and Brenda Brown.
Thank you. Okay, see, there are no other items on our agenda tonight. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Howerton, seconded by Commissioner Carter. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And we are unanimously adjourned.